Everyone, this is coming from Open Text Application Delivery Management team. Today, I'm going to introduce to you the installation of a newly supported database, PostgreSQL, in project and portfolio management. For PostgreSQL with PPM was first introduced since PPM 10, but please note that it is still a beta feature. PostgreSQL version 11 can be used with PPM 10.0.0 to 10.0.3, and PostgreSQL 13.8 or later can be used for PPM version newer than 10.0.3. You may find more detailed information in our online help. Given that it's still under beta support, please note that we do not recommend using PostgreSQL for any production environment. You may feel free to try it on a test environment, and in case if there's any issue, please do not hesitate to share with us through our standard support process. The advantages of using PostgreSQL is that it's one of the most popular and widely used open source relational database in the market. With its low cost and rich features, it's challenging big players such as Oracle, IBM, and Sybase. But as it's a newly implemented feature in PPM, there are some limitations. First of all, data migration to or from PostgreSQL database is not yet supported. Currently, English is the only supported language. There is no multi-language support. Not all modules, commands, and reports are fully tested and verified. Some of the portlets, such as Portfolio by Category Resource Grant, do not work. For details, please check the limitations part in our installation guide. Let's take a look at the installation flow. Before installing, always check the compatibility between PostgreSQL and PPM, as well as the supported operating system for the database. Next, you will need to install dependencies for RFC extension in step 3. After dependencies are installed, you can continue to install the PostgreSQL server with some necessary configuration change. Once the database installation is done, you can proceed to install the RFC extension. The last step is to install database client on PPM server and continue PPM installation following the installation guide. The information taken from PPM support matrix. Please note that for security considerations, PostgreSQL 11 is not supported in PPM 10.0.4 and later. Regarding the supported operating systems, please check detailed information from PostgreSQL official site. For example, for PostgreSQL 13, the supported Windows operating systems are Windows Server 2016 and 2019. But if you would like to use CentOS, please note that CentOS 8 is not supported, so you need to use CentOS 6 or 7. Here is the dependency list for CentOS 7.5. It may be different for different Linux distributions. The first two dependencies are required for some extra PostgreSQL components. GCC and OpenSSL DevL are necessary for installing RFC extension. Without these packages, dependency errors would occur during installation. PostgreSQL offers detailed installation scripts for each of the supported OS distributions on their site. Here is a sample for CentOS 7.5. The setup script will display after you select the wanted OS distribution, version, and architecture. You can then copy it by clicking the Copy Script button. You can now paste the copied scripts into terminal and run it. The script will install the latest version of PostgreSQL 13 server component, initialize the database, and enable the service for PostgreSQL. Once the script is finished, an OS user Postgres is added automatically. A DB superuser Postgres for PostgreSQL database is also created. The default installation directory and data directory is listed in the slides for your quick reference. To make the SQL Server accessible, some additional changes need to be added into two configuration files. You can find both files under Data folder of PostgreSQL. First, you need to modify pg_hba.conf and add the line in the IPv4 section. which allows communication from the other machines to be accepted by the database. You also need to modify postgresql.conf and change listen addresses from localhost to the IP address of your preferred network interface. In this example, we're using star to present all IP addresses on this machine. By default, this line is commented out, so you will need to remove the hash sign at the beginning to uncomment. So far, PostgreSQL Server has been installed and configured properly. We still need 2 extra components for ORIFC installation. Once everything is done, you may restart the PostgreSQL service and check the status using system control status command, followed by the service name. Make sure it is under active running status as shown in the output. Here are some optional things that you can do to check and make sure DB is functioning by running a set of Postgres commands as listed in the slide to test creating user, databases, change permissions, and so on. These are typical DB operations PPM installation would require, so it might be good to check in advance. Next, you can download ORIFC 3.24.4 from GitHub, unzip it to your preferred directory, and add that path into the path environment variable. Then you will run make to compile the source and make install to install that component. Now you can go ahead and install PostgreSQL client on PPM server machine and follow rest of the steps to install PPM. That is all for the presentation today. Thank you for watching and thank you for using OpenText products. Please feel free to follow us on Twitter and LinkedIn.